Whoa, this is weird. I'm narrating the wrong series. Last week's Witcher video was the first part of my girlfriend's journey through The Witcher 3. In order to avoid the next part of that journey being nothing but Gwent games, it seemed like a smart idea to get it all out of our system now. Especially since we've been obsessed with The Witcher 3 as of late, and it's the only thing either of us want to play. Oh, I guess I better hand things back over to her. She'd probably be really upset with me if I said something cheeky like, we played things close to the chest on Gwent date night.
Wow. I could tell he was getting restless watching me play the card game, so the least we can do is throw him a bone. In all honesty though, around the time I started getting excited, it became pretty clear that we ought to just make an entire video dedicated to Gwent.
What'll it be?
I'm glad he got to the point. Before we get started properly, since he went and stole my intro, I have to say my biggest question about Gwent is who the hell is making all these cards? It just seems a little funny to me that there are all these powerful cards based on characters I've met in the game. I got Yennefer! Ah! I'll meet a new character and just be like, hey, I know you, I have your card.
No, Dijkstra.
Oh my god! I have your card! The crazy thing is that since he's played all the games, he knows the names of all the characters on the cards. So we kept running into this problem where he'd tell me to play something and I'd either sit there confused or play the wrong thing. Since it was taking me a while to get the names down, I ended up just coming up with my own nicknames as a compromise. Go Blue Eyes Stripe Commando!
Wipe out his remaining life points.
When he first came into the fold with me, we had to completely rebuild my deck. I had cards all over the place and it was all out of balance. I initially thought that the more cards I had, the better, but now I realize that it just made it more difficult to draw my actual good cards. Apparently, having 2 of each weather card in the deck is overkill, but in my defense, I was just rolling with what the game gave me.
My, a Witcher. Something tells me I'll finally get something interesting to do.
Let's play cards.
The first order of business we set out to fix was building me a respectable deck of powerful cards. God damn it.
There you go, Lou.
Okay. I thought I was doing pretty good with the ones I had, but having seen what we're capable of now, I realized that I barely even scratched the surface of what was possible. There's some serious shenanigans you can play, and I would go absolutely ballistic if the AI pulled some of the shit he does.
Dracarys.
In a way, collecting all the different cards was a fun way for me to get a little peek of what's on the horizon in the main storyline. We'd get the card in a new area, and before I even had a chance to poke around, it was off to the next location. It was actually probably for the best because I'm already underleveled enough, and the last thing I need is to get clapped by a bunch of late game enemies. The fun part about collecting some of the more desirable cards out there was that sometimes you couldn't just buy them from people, but had to win them off them instead. We just took this little kid's favorite card. What the fuck? I guess you could say it was good practice. As we unlocked new cards, it was always exciting to try them out against the next person with a good card. I really underestimated how complex a game of Gwent could be when I first started out. I thought it was as simple as playing big numbers and watching my number go but that was really only skin deep. There are all sorts of special cards with their own rules that if you're not careful can end up doing more harm than good if you play them all willy-nilly like I was. Like I could not for the life of me wrap my head around why my spy cards were going to the other player's side of the field. Another example was the Scorch card, which even now knowing what it does is still the bane of my existence. Wait, fuck. I love playing tight bond cards.
Oh my god.
Okay, I like everything that I have. And nothing hurts quite like getting 3 of them out on the board and then watching them get burned. I don't know what's more damaging, getting scorched by the opponent or scorching myself by mistake. I can't trust myself with Scorch. It's no mystery which one hurts my boyfriend the most. I have to be very careful not to scorch myself.
Yes, please do.
After learning all the different card interactions, it becomes super obvious why you might want to go into a game with a specific strategy instead of just brute forcing big numbers every round. It seems like every time I use a decoy card, I always do the second best thing I could have done. Somehow there's always something that could have been slightly better, but I miss it because I'm so busy patting myself on the back for how clever I am.
We should have left the 7 on the field and picked up Dijkstra. It's okay.
Yeah, we didn't know she
she's gonna do Dijkstra right after, but yeah, that's a good point. When I was playing on my own, I was guilty of never wanting to lose the first round. I'd burn through all my best cards trying to get my opponent to pass, only to realize I had fuck all to play for the next 2 rounds. But now I've matured as a Gwent enthusiast. I can thank my boyfriend for teaching me his strategy, which is bleeding their cards on the first round. It's always fun to bait the AI into playing their best cards in round 1, while you just sit there knowing damn well that you're gonna throw it.
All in.
Our relationship with Gwent went through multiple phases. After he entered the picture, there were several games where I wouldn't so much as select a card without looking to him for approval. He picked up on it and stopped offering advice, so then I was on my own again. Except this time, every time I blundered a play, I could feel the deep disappointment he was hiding behind his poker face. The silver lining was that it motivated me to want to get better. And with time, we found ourselves somewhere closer to the middle. I'm back to throwing down cards however I please, but at least now I'm winning. Oh my god, so we just won this round.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass.
Play the cow. Play the cow. Play the cow. Fuck.
I was always sheepish about how much money I'd wager. I'm just gonna bet 5. But nowadays, I just max that shit out. I've gotten a lot more confident in my card skill, so I'm not afraid to ante up. It's a shame I can't bet more, cause I'd love to clean these NPCs out of their stock. Mark my words, I'd go all in if they'd let me, but I'll take my 10 crowns in stride. I kept winning cards from people and not realizing that they were from different decks than the one I was using. My boyfriend gave me a not so simple rundown of what the different decks gimmicks are, but in the end, I felt like I should just go with the devil you know instead of the devil you don't. I'm not saying I chose to stick with the Northern Realms deck just because it's blue, but it definitely helped. No, they're all green cards. That's only half the story though, because even if I don't play with the other decks, I still need to learn what they are for when I go up against them. What the fuck? That way I'm not upset when the Scoia'tael get to rig the pregame coin toss or Nilfgaard acts like they won the fight when it was clearly a draw. Still, every time we play a monster deck, I just sit there frothing at the mouth waiting for permission to play Biting Frost. It's about to happen, everybody. Oh, this is so good.
It's time. It's so good.
That is so fucking satisfying. Oh my god. There are plenty of people who play Gwent, and sometimes it surprised me how good some of them were. We'd meet some merchant in the middle of nowhere with a deck that absolutely slaps. Then you get the folks who are all bark and no bite. Either way, their money's still good. The thing I love the most about Gwent is that even when a round is won, it's not enough for the 2 of us. We can't help but make our victory as overkill as possible.
Look around you, friend. We won.
Once the opponent has passed in the final round, we just start slamming down all our strongest card combos and crank the score as high as possible. I feel like my card lust has been fulfilled for now, but judging by him, it seems like it never really goes away for good. Hopefully this scratches the itch long enough to keep him off my back while I make some meaningful progress in the story. That doesn't mean I won't challenge every person I can along the way though, but I've got horses to race and women to find. Oh my god! Series card! Do you think I could just bring her dad that?